Hello and welcome to another exclusive review with me, Alex Belfield, here at celebrityradio.biz, where last year we had over 12 million minutes viewed on YouTube. We're now the number one reviewer for theatre in the UK and Las Vegas online, and we thank you for tuning in. What a week it's been. Beetlejuice, the biggest reaction online ever to a review. 5-star musical there. Moulin Rouge, not so much. Dear Evan Hansen, biggest ball fest we've ever seen. We came out depressed and miserable. And then we went to see The Boy in the Dress. The title itself made me nervous. What is it going to be? Is it going to be a millennial sort of bashing of gender and all this? Don't clap at the end of songs because you might offend people, and certainly don't say good evening, ladies and gentlemen, at the beginning of the performance. Well, in fact, it's not. It's not about being gay. It's not about being anything. It's about being who you are. And I have to tell you, it is one of the most joyous 2.5 hours I've spent in a theatre in the last decade. It is fabulous. It's formulaic. It plays to the strengths of the greats like Billy Elliot. It has the heart of Jamie. There's also equally a childish innocence about it, which is beautiful, sort of that Mary Poppins look about it, which just makes you instantly go back to that happy place where there was no Brexit, no Boris Johnson, no Donald Trump, and just a football in your back garden with your mates. It has some of the visuals of Matilda. That's unsurprising because it's Royal Shakespeare Company. But it has massive heart and even more talent. The kid who plays the boy in the dress is sensational. We'll get to him in a bit, although there are 4 lead stars sharing that role. David Walliams, from my generation, is known for Little Britain, making fun of fatties, and the only gay in the village, and was hysterical. Now, though, of course, to a new generation, he's known as one of the most popular authors on earth. He wrote a book called The Boy in the Dress, which has now been turned into a musical by the RSC, and it's had everything thrown at it. It's had the class of the Royal Shakespeare Company at Stratford-upon-Avon. It's had the musical brilliance of Guy Chambers and Robbie Williams, and the genius dust of Mark Ravenhill's adaptation of David Walliams' book. And let me tell you, this killer combo of David's writing, Mark's adaptation, and Robbie and Guy's musicality has made this a smash hit. It is lovable from the second you walk into the theatre. It's got a storybook set. It's got music that you instantly love and almost recognise, even though you've not heard it before. It's got a story about hope and sincerity and being who you are, which you can't fail to be endeared by. And it is driven by a magnificent cast with some sensational choreography. The set itself is beautiful. There's sort of nods to our house in it. There's nods to Matilda, certainly. But it certainly stands alone as one of the most beautiful sets I've ever seen. It's mellifluous the way stuff comes on and goes off. And of course, the ballet of the football scenes, although simple, is just magical, even for a 39-year-old man. There's nothing I didn't like about this show. Having spent all week in the theatre, I saw Phantom of the Opera again, which is still magical after 33 years. And then I saw the third preview of Dear Evan Hansen, which is one of the worst atrocities I've had to sit through in a theatre, celebrating all the worst things of our life. Depression, suicide, and the millennial obsession with social media. This show doesn't look at that. This show looks at a little boy who wants to play football, who wants to fit in, who has a brother and a father who is devastated and can't reconcile the fact that his wife is no longer living in the house. How does he cope with that? All the stuff we can instantly relate to. And of course, there's a happy ending, which in my view, every show should have. You should never leave the theatre feeling more miserable than you went in. That's not the point, certainly, of musical theatre. If I were to be sneery like most of my colleagues who are critics, I would say it's a bit low rent in places with poo, snot and fart gags. But of course, this is a children's musical. It got big laughs. It might not work for me, but it's a bit panto in places. David, of course, loves that type of humour, and that's why he's the master of this type of art for kids. This show is joyous. It looks joyous. It's lit joyous, and the music is uplifting throughout. There's obviously similarities to Billy Elliot because it's about a little boy. He doesn't want to become a dancer. He wants to wear a dress. It's the same principle, really. At my performance, Dennis was played by Jackson Lang, and I've got to tell you, I have not seen a more sensational child performance since Liam Mower on opening night of Billy Elliot. He has the most tender, beautiful voice you could imagine. It's pitch perfect, it's enchanting, it's lovable. You want to hug the kid. He is such a star. 2 things happened in this show tonight that shouldn't have happened. Very small things that most people wouldn't notice. The way this kid dealt with these tiny things that could have ruined the next scene was unbelievable. He noticed that something had gone wrong, he made it right, he sorted it out, and he carried on. I can't believe how beautiful that was, and for that I give him 5 stars before we even get to his voice and to his performance. It was utterly believable. Congratulations to Alfie Zooks, who was a magnificent John, playing the brother of Dennis. A beautiful voice. There was one moment where he really shone. And also congratulations to Asha Banks, who played Lisa James. Good Lord, what a star this girl's going to be. I think she's only 15, but my God, what a voice. 2 points in the show where she steals it. Magnetic, of course, from the second she walks on the stage, and she plays the part just beautifully. Honestly, there isn't a bad piece of casting in this show, and nor should there be, really. This is one of the most exciting shows this year. Of course, I don't believe that this show will end in November at the RSC in Stratford-upon-Avon. My belief is it will go into the West End. I almost wonder whether Matilda's had its day and this is designed to replace it. Well, let me tell you, that wouldn't be a bad thing. This is a step up from that show in my view. It's just perfect. Let's do some nods to the cast. Dad's played by Rufus Hound. Utterly believable. I love Rufus. He is everything you don't expect from a West End performer, but that's why he's so great. He's just real and authentic. You absolutely believe that's how Dad would have behaved towards Dennis in that situation. Big Mac was fabulous. Max Gill, what a star. There's a bit of stereotyping going on in this show, which I think probably The Guardian won't like very much, but I just loved it. There's a corner shop ran by Raj, played by Irvin Iqbal, who is just adorable, instantly lovable. Charlotte Giaconelli is an old friend of the show, and I love her very, very much. She's hugely talented, and as Lorna, well, she's just fabulous. Congratulations to Charlotte. For me, Natasha Lewis was sensational in this show. She just brings heart from the second the curtain goes up, although there isn't a curtain at the RSC. Natasha is Devesh's mum, and she just brings the heart and life and soul into the show. This show sort of has the magic of Mary Poppins with the grit of Jamie. It's an amalgamation of both of those things. It's not a children's show, it's not an adult show, it's somewhere in the middle, which makes it joyous. In front of me were 2 kids with their parents, mesmerised, all 4 of them. That's genius theatre. Hobbs Mason played the disgusting headmaster with a zinger at the end magnificently, and Christina Modestar played Miss Breslau superbly too. Big nods to Gareth. Miss Windsor was played by Charlotte Wakefield, another huge talent who did it brilliantly. And congratulations to the entire ensemble, who were directed magnificently by Gregory Duran, who were made to look fabulous by Robert Jones. I think the biggest compliment I can pay this production is the speed in which it moves. It's designed for young kids who, let's face it, can't pay attention for more than 30 seconds, and it feels like it moves at 100 miles an hour. One of the most beautiful scenes was the campers' tits moment, courtesy of David's inspiration. I think his sort of nod to Donna Summer at the end of Act 1. Brilliant. Truly a perfect stellar cast. Very rarely does a show come along that changes the way people think and beats expectation. With music by Robbie Williams and Guy Chambers, you knew that it was going to be impressive, but would they live up to the hype? I've seen musicals by other Take That performers where the music is just okay. This show isn't okay, it really is exceptional. I think there will become big hits from this show, and this show certainly will end up in the West End, on tour for many years, and will become the backbone of theatre departments in schools for decades to come. There's nothing preachy about this musical. That's what I love the most. There's nothing about being gay. It's not a gay story if that's what you're worried about. In fact, I don't think there's any reference anywhere in the show to Dennis's sexuality. This is simply about a boy who wants to wear a dress and has the last laugh. So really every box is ticked for a family musical. It's theatrically magnificent, it's visually beautiful, it's musically perfect, it's performed as well as it possibly could be by a magnificent cast, and I just loved The Boy in the Dress by the Royal Shakespeare Company. Congratulations to David and the whole team. You've been listening to another exclusive review by me, Alex Belfield, here at celebrityradio.biz, where last year we had over 12 million minutes viewed on YouTube. You can check out all of our hundreds of interviews and reviews at www.celebrityradio.biz. Ta-da.